Tonight, I'm being joined by a former governor of Jigawa State and also a former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Governor Sule Lamido. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Thank you, Your Excellency. It's good to see you. Let's begin this conversation in the area of politics. This banditry in some parts, majorly in the northwestern region of the country and in the north central. With what we're saying, how do you hope that we can best tackle these bandits and their open play, because they just openly go to schools, worship centers, people's homes, communities, kidnap people, ask for ransom. Some state governors have deployed the move of shutting down telecoms network in some of these states. What's your view on the best way to tackle this?
Thank you, Shaun, and thank you for having me. Let me start by saying that whatever is happening today in the north stands condemned by whoever it is. And there is no way a country can grow if there is no security of life and property. Having said that, then maybe you have to also reflect and say, what are the root causes? What is happening today in Nigeria? Why are our own children who are under 25, taking arms against their own kith and kin, going to villages to harass them, take away their livestock, burn their houses, even rape their own women? What is the problem? This kind of moral decadence, what has gone wrong? So it means, I think, we the parents and the leaders, and also both religions have to blame because there are things which were abandoned in terms of raising our children with the kind of moral character to be able to understand that, that life is anchored upon some few principles of life. And so, to me, we are all responsible. If you look at the level of poverty in Nigeria, the lack of infrastructure in terms of education, the way parents have abandoned their own children, taking them to far places, but then to care for them. A number of things have gone wrong. But then above everything else, it's about leadership. Leadership is very, very important. And so a leader has to be held accountable and responsible. They show Zampara. Why is Zampara becoming the hub of terrorism in Nigeria? Why? Because there are some kind of economic interest in that place. I don't think there's been a report, or a submission, a report from one of the committees set up, where, key political leaders, some emirs, political actors are behind this issue of, because of the benefit they make, the gold pillage. And so we have to be really God-fearing that today in Nigeria, where are we heading to? These people who are under 25, but in the next 25 years, they're going to be 50 years old. How can we have a leader, who have grown, into the, from the wild in the bush, attacking people, killing people who don't have anything called empathy or human concern? We have lost our human essence. So what do we do? So I think it's not me alone. All of us have to come together. There have been a number of presentations, a number of submission by people who are what about insecurity. What has gone wrong? What are the problems? How do we come together, ignore politics, and look at Nigeria and see how do we save this country? That's my view.
It's interesting that you have pointed this out, but I mean, it's not as if there is a region in the country presently that is insulated from some of these challenges. But kidnapping and banditry especially, and from some of the stories that we are hearing and the questions we always ask, some of these elements, you from that region of the country, can you tell us with some of the activities of these bandits? There's a likeness of these terrorists in the northeast. Are there some kind of similarity between the northeast terrorists and the bandits in the northwest?
Look, crime is crime, whether in the north or in the south, whether they are bandits or kidnappers or whatever they are criminals. But the issue is, you see, government must be held accountable. And I don't want to sound too political, but it's a fact of life that, when you want when you want to attain political power, the process must be very, very credible. must be very, very transparent. Leaders should be able to say, look, I want to be in government because I will do this and this and this and that. And they ignore the temptation to tell lies and malign and blackmail others to make a point. I was watching my nephew, Farouk Adamu, over this particular program, who is calling me a thief, and I'm a thief all through, saying that, before, when they are trying to get power in Nigeria in 2014, and this is their change mantra, they had no idea of what a government was, that they are very, very ignorant. Now, that is very, very profound. Political party which had a former head of state as a candidate, political party which had a former Senate president, former governors, former parliamentarians, people have been in government all their, for some 4, 5, 8 years, coming together and they say they are ignorant about governance. So that says a lot. So it means they knew what they are doing, they knew they are telling lies, but then to them it is fun getting the power. If they get the power, then they can begin to say, what do we do? That's the problem. So the process and the platform must be very, very honest, must be very, very credible. We must have the courage to say, this is what we are going to do. And the thing are going to be very, very tough. But then when you say, oh, I'm sorry, I never knew it was like that. So how could somebody who will be former head of state, former Nigerian Minister of Petroleum say that, subsidy is a fraud? How could he say that, for God's sake? How could somebody who has been a president in the country say that the security is caused by a political party called PDP? And how can people who have been in government, who want to take political party, saying that a whole political party which was able to restore Nigeria from the abyss it went through under Junta, what were able to save Nigeria in 1999, to restore Nigeria, again Nigeria is reconciled, so that after 15, 20 years that we have done nothing in Nigeria, nothing. So you see, it is this culture of telling lies to the younger generation. So when you read their hope in trying to get government, and you're in government, by the time you fail to fulfill their needs, of course you're going to have some problems. So these are simply the consequences of telling lies in campaign. And so for us to be safe, we should be more focused, what is wrong with this country? That, leaders have not been very, very honest, they've not been very, very sincere, and there's nothing called justice in the way we run Nigeria. We see Nigeria as at my own time, our own son, our own tribe. And then whatever he does, people in the north, we are dying every day. We are not safe, we are not secure. You can't even travel from Abuja to Kaduna and feel safe. And yet, because he's our own son, and he's our own kid, we are happy. While we are dying, we are happy because Buhari is our own son. So that's the problem. But they say, beyond Buhari, beyond Lamido, beyond the current actors, in the next 30 years, there will be Nigeria. The younger generation now who are 25 are going to be about 55, 60 years. What are we planning for them? That's the question. So we need to come together and then get politics, put politics aside, and then sit down and then see what do we do as leaders in this country. That's I look at things in a very, very innocent way because I'm a local person and I carry my heart on my palm for all to see. So whatever I say in my lips is something in my heart. But then we have no leadership in Nigeria. That's the problem. And the world is looking at us.
So, what is the solution, if I may ask? Do you know, if you were in the position of a president today, what would you do to resolve this banditry?
What I will do is that, we need to have, ideas from leaders, ideas from people. The view of the security agencies and other key players, let's get them all together. Look, if I am the president, look, where are the leaders of the country, the political leaders, all the political parties, the clerics, the malams, the people, come. And then I'll say, this is Nigeria. I'll narrate to them, Nigeria, this is the country called Nigeria, a country divided, a country which has no human feeling, where there's no empathy, a country where we pursue the ephemeral against the altruistic, a country where we abandon the cause of Nigeria in pursuing our own interests. So that today, interests are in Nigeria, interest. Those who want to be councillors, who want to be governors, president, and whatever, are leading Nigeria. And Nigeria behind, we should try and pursue our aspirations through Nigeria. So that by the time we get there, we'll be able to command the respect of Nigeria. So I'll call there and say, look, this is the country called Nigeria, a leader of the black race, with 20 million people, well endowed by God. We have everything. Why are we in the kind of condition? What has gone wrong? We discuss, we debate, and we should debate sincerely across all divides, the north and south. But the way we are today, we keep, creating bigger divide, bigger gaps, For instance, not to talk about what President said. People say, look, it's our own time. Now, governors of political party from the south are coming together. demolishing all the walls of the political party. No APC, they come together as governors, say one Nigerian presidency. Now, if you look at the country from that point of view, that it's your own region, your own interest, your own people. Conversely, the other people too have their interest. So if you are calling the government of PDP and the APC in southern Nigeria to meet on the point of presidency, I can't imagine me meeting the governor of PC. Me so Lamido meeting with APC on presidency. So it means the family of PDP, where the political party is for all Nigeria, is all gone. Political parties should not be discriminated. It should be open to all Nigeria. It's the only platform where Nigeria can be able to can really promote their own political interests. So we should avoid this kind of division in terms of political power. We put too much emphasis on political power and in so doing abandon the real problem facing Nigeria. That's what APC did in 2014. They said so many things about Nigeria and haven't gotten there now. Where are we? We are worse off. So similarly, if PDP is not very, very careful, if we begin to explore these divisions in terms of my own time, my own region, my own time, my own whatever it is, by the time we get there, if we don't get the process right through a very, very credible, all-inclusive family Nigerian platform, if we get there, there'll be a problem. Will be worse than APC. So it means, it's about time we begin to put the country first, more than anything else. And once we're able to put the country first, and they will begin to restore that thing called trust, which is lost because people no longer trust each other. And they're not between families, between a father and son, between friends, between communities, north and south, east and west. We have lost faith in each other. We have lost that kind of thing called trust. We try, how do you restore the trust of Nigeria and Nigerian people? That, beyond anything else, you are a human being like me, coming from the north or south, you create my own reflection, my own physiognomy, you have two eyes, I have two eyes, and so that you can begin to see the human essence in us. When we begin to unite, we'll be able to unite around us, around our common humanity, and save Nigeria. It's possible, but then leadership must be able to give the kind of confidence first, the genuine leadership. When people are very honest and genuine, the country will be all right.
So, you said if you were president now, your solution to the security problems is that you were going to bring the leaders together, religious, traditional leaders, you bring them together to have a conversation. Is it a kind of a confab, a kind of conversation, the kind of conferencing, or the kind of summit that President Goodluck Jonathan organized in 2014 as the result of the 2014 confab?
You see, I'm not talking about confab. You see, confab, is a kind of talk shop where people gather, and when they gather, they keep on promoting social interest. Because the person who convenes the conversation is not there. In my own case, I'll be part of the conversation with the people. Key players, who I say, look, me being that is, if I'm the president, I'm going to direct you this Nigeria for Nigeria. This is Nigeria for you, for all to understand. Nigeria, which is commonly our own common heritage. And these are the issues. What do we do? Not a conference, because conference is talking about, political interest. Not about security, not about unity, not about common bond, not about love. We're talking about, what do I get? Who is it? And therefore, we further create further division and further mistrust. I will be involved in the discussion, and I'm going to be very, very small. That's what I did in Jigawa. Though Jigawa is a very, very small state, a micro level. But then you see, when you are able to engage people and talk with them, that you have a common destiny. You are, you are responsible. You are being looked onto as leaders. What do we do as people? Not, restructuring, who gets what. No. First, how do we restore our common humanity? How do we restore first trust amongst ourselves? When there is trust, we're able to answer, then we can move forward. And then begin to answer others which are part of the government of government or management of government. But then the basic fact that we have to be able to answer that whatever I say something you understand and I understand, that we share the same commitment, that you and I are on the same frequency or on the same page.
Before I get into a very interesting matter away from security, let me just touch on one subject on insecurity and the situation in the northern region of the country. You're one of the leaders of that region, and you said the parents and the leaders in the north are to be blamed for what has happened in the north, and seeing the children carrying arms against the people of the region. For example, the number of out-of-school children in the north northern region of the country. The former mayor of Kano State and the former Central Bank governor has said that it is a ticking time bomb what is happening in the north. Are you worried about what the future holds for the younger northerners in the northern region of the country with the statistics of out-of-school children and the kind of situation in education in the north?
Before I answer about my worries and my concerns about whatever, a correction. Criminality, crime is now an additional phenomenon in both the north and the south. All of us have a problem. Go to the south, go to southeast, southwest. So the crime is now is something which is now national. But then its peculiarity may be a little bit different. So what I think that, it is a failure of the system and leadership, both north and south. If in the north, Boko Haram, in the south, what do you have there? There are a number of things happening in the south, where people are killing, ritually killing. In fact, they say, I was told that, there's a market where you can go and buy human spare parts. You can buy an ear in the market. You can buy a tongue or an eye. I mean, that is terrible. So crime is a crime. We have lost our common humanity. We have lost our common essence. That we're not a human being. You see, I'm not a Muslim, but then I think God in his own wisdom, when he made human beings, he gave us intellect, which means we're different from other animals. And then I think God in his own wisdom also put a kind of thin membrane encasing our brain so that, wrong thinking and wrong ideas of person will not go into the head. That's why, you don't indulge in incest or bad murder or whatever. But then, so the wrongdoing is being repelled by the thin membrane in the head. But the Nigerian membrane has torn away. The Nigerian membrane, which is encasing and protecting our brains from wrong thinking, from evil doing, has been torn away. And therefore, the Nigerian mind today can absorb any evil, unimaginable, anything. So it's not another affair. It's a national affair. It's both north and south. We have lost our human essence. So how do we do as people? Not just the northerners, we know the problem, but then the Almajiri thing is a system which can be remodeled, which can be, I think, redefined. And also, the southern part of the country, what are the issues? So, Shem, I would rather see the whole thing as kind of, something more holistic, so more national than being regional or zonal. I want something which will be able to understand Nigeria as a nation, its people, and its future and security, so that, will be able to holistically address it. Which is peculiar in the north, should be known by people in the south, vice versa. And then together we can move ahead.
To want to get back into prominence and win the 2023 presidential election, as far as what we hear, as far as what the leaders of the party are saying, are you optimistic about the chances of your party in 2023?
In 2014, one of the governor, the former President Johnson was in Kaduna, in Jigai campaigning. And I said, on the podium, publicly, on the podium, I said, look, Mr. President, today in Nigeria, the two political parties running for also the presidency, none of them is having Nigeria at heart. It is being propelled by interest. You and Buhari are simply running for our own interest. Not through Nigeria, but you are asking Nigeria to follow you. If you are only applying interest through Nigeria, but then the way you are doing, the way we have this kind of division in the north and the south, then the Edwin class saying it's our own son, our own time, in the north saying, it's our own man, Islam. The division was so that whoever won, I said so, whoever won, Nigeria would lose. Whoever won that election, Nigeria would lose. It just happened now. APC won, Nigeria lost. If Jonathan has won, Nigeria also lose because we have lost that thing which is binding to us, which is common to us. We are pursuing the divisions in terms for the purpose of keeping our own zones, our own tribes, our own secure for ourselves. And therefore the division was very, very sharp. So in 2022, and again, in 2019, I said, in 2019, I said, look, if you don't get PDP back to power in 2019, then we begin to think that this country may likely perish. I said so. Now, we're now going to 2023. APs are saying that they made a mistake, that they were ignorant, that they had no idea. the issue they thought about corruption, security, what is the other one? Economy. It's all minus, I mean, it's 0%. So it means the commitment was to the office. The commitment was to the glare of the office, the aura of the office, not the function of that office. And that's what we're today. That, you know, I mean, look at this corruption issue of corruption. Look at the issue of foreign debt. Under Obasanjo, we're virtually on a clean slate. Under this government now, I don't know how much we're going. I saw a figure from BBC, every Nigerian now owes the world about 20,000 naira, or that about. So the amount of money being borrowed, for what purpose? Why is the work? So what I'm saying is that, you see, in 2023, or 2022, whatever it is, for the election, we should be able to say, look, this is our country, both PDP and the APC. We must have something, a common answer that, you know, this is the benchmark by which we are going to pursue our campaign. We must have benchmark. And then from there on, begin to see how do we restore that thing called trust, which is being eluding us, which has been destroyed. By the time it is restored, then I think that it's going to be PDP, because PDP has the capacity, is very, very organic, it's a Nigerian party, it's owned by Nigerians, unlike APC, which is owned by Tinubu and Buhari. And Tinubu, when he didn't get the presidency, he will not even bother about anybody. Buhari is finished on tenure. So you see, within the APC, the character there, the character of APC don't have that kind of political cloud or image, or in the Nigerian chemistry to be able to lead Nigeria. So it means it's going to be PDP. PDP, you know, with the experience, you know, with the kind of commitment to Nigeria, with the love of Nigeria, because in 1999, we know what he did. In 1999, there was no Nigeria. It was divided along, you know, various, you know, fissures, along various, you know, cracks. But then, because the PDP leadership had wisdom, was reflecting, was seeing what is Nigeria yesterday and what will be Nigeria tomorrow, we're able to get Nigeria fully restored and fully reconciled and then face the economy. So this area, you know, we need to look at the political party with the capacity and structure and the commitment to save Nigeria. If we go for this, you know, normal campaign of, you know, it's my own time or your own time, or for that, you know, then we have lost that basic trust of unity. And therefore we'll go to the election balkanized or divided, pursuing individual interests or tribal interests or religious interests. And then by the time we form the government, whether APC or PDP, it's going to be worse than what we have today. Because it means the country will be slowing down up to a level whereby we will simply, you know, evaporate.
I mean, so in all of the things that you have explained, you've not hit the nail on the head as to the chances of your party in 2023. Your party was giving a bloody nose in 2015 when an incumbent was defeated. That was a rare situation in our politics, where you have a situation where an incumbent party is beating. I mean, that happened. In 2019, your party did not recover from that situation. Now, from all of you, what you have said now, the question is, what is the way out? What is the solution? Does the PDP have the answer? You're a leader in the party. Give us an insight into what your party is doing. Can Nigerians look to your party for an alternative? Because that is what your party says they can provide. You said you have the alternative platform. You said you know Nigeria better. Can Nigeria trust your party in 2023?
Sharon, in 2014, it is you and I, Nigeria, who got the bloody nose, not PDP. You are also blooded. Because you know what you are today, you know you have the power of the money in your own pocket. So Nigeria got a rough deal. It was Nigeria which was defeated, not PDP. Get this very, very clear. And therefore you are also affected. I'm afraid for everybody. Now we know where we are today. What I'm saying is this. In 2023, you know, it's not an issue of, you know, that, you know, there's something called anger in PDP because we've been defeated. No, it's beyond that, because these things are luxury now. You know, we're looking at a country which is going through a lot of crisis. First is lack of trust, mistrust within Nigerians. And then with the accompanying poverty and the insecurity and the insurgency and the lack of humanity and human empathy. These are the issues. And therefore, the only party with the capacity is PDP. Now, between 1999 to 2014 is page one. I've been saying this, is Nigerian history of page one. Between 2014 to 2022 or 23, it's going to be page 2. Page 1 was PDP. A united Nigeria, very fairly secure, with no foreign debt. You know, wow, there's so much empathy. There was so much human love. There was mutual respect across the various tribes. And therefore, insurgency, which we're trying to manage because it was manageable. 2014, 2023, see what we have, page 2. You know, lack of human empathy, mistrust. We're being evilized. We become a country which is now a which is being laughed. You know, we lost our state as a leader of the black race. A country where you can't even travel between Kaduna and Zad and Abuja, who are another president. A country where his home state, Kaduna, is not safe. So you see, it's very, very clever. You know, the APC came because they say they are ignorant. They're not doubt because they said so. I Farouk said so that, you know, they took so much for granted. Even Pantami said, you know, when he was crying, because they think he didn't know that's why he was crying. But now he's there, now he knows that, you know, things are not like that. So you see, ignorance cannot be an excuse in leadership. Ignorance, if you don't know, please don't venture into it. And since they never know, they should please clear away and also bring PDP, which is the kind of network, political capacity, the exposure, the experience, and the international standing to be able to save Nigeria and restore Nigeria back. And I'm sure we can do it. So the choice for Nigerian, page 1, PDP, page 2, APC, make your choice. If you want us quick, you know, there can be no pain and the agony and the anguish and what have you, fine, then we'll do APC. If you want, you know, a better Nigeria, more united, more prosperous, where there's so much empathy, there's human love, human respect, then of course your natural party is PDP, because it's the Nigerian party, which is a Nigerian ownership, unlike APC.
On a final note, Governor, give us your view, just in about 30 seconds, if you may, on the issue of the VAT. We've seen a few states go against the FRS. What's your view on, I mean, does he give you a clue as to fiscal federalism and how we should go? Or what's your view? If you can do that in 30 seconds, it would be fantastic.
I don't want to comment on that issue because it's a kind of, you know, religious connotation. You know, some people are saying, you know, VAT on beer and other things which are forbidden in Islam are there. So if you begin to make, you know, an honest and sincere answer to, you know, you'll be accused of, you know, maybe of not citing a particular thing. So I would rather say I will let them do the debate, you know, on VAT, you know, anybody. But then to me, you see, the issue became so common because the issue of Sharia, people are talking about beer being destroyed, and beer is being part of the VAT. That's what they're saying. So let the younger, you know, the younger generation who are governors now keep on talking and see whether they can find a way midway. But then, to be honest, you know, if he's approached from this point of division in terms of what is legal or illegal, right or not right, you know, there'll be some problem. We need some kind of consensus. What do we do? We are getting ourselves boxed into a corner. How do we get out of this corner?
Former Governor of Jigawa State and former Foreign Affairs Minister Sule Lamido, thank you so much, Your Excellency. It's good to see you again. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
For having me, and the good viewers, thank you very much for watching us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We take a break, everyone. And when we return, the internal issues in the Edo State People's Democratic Party gets our attention. We get both parties who are not agreeing at the moment to talk to us about the contentions in the Edo State PDP. Join us again, everyone.